Welcoming you back to crypto's juiciest news, baby dolls. I've got a full video coming out on pDai later. We're going to go through Bitcoin and everything else out here. pDai just had a momentary slight correction down to zero of minus 99.93%. And it came back. Cattie! We've got a new main character now in pDai, Cattie. And we did get pegged, but we had a gag ball in our mouth and we're strapped to the bed. Cherry has been popped. We got plenty more news coming out, friends. I hope you've been enjoying it as well. A lot of people as well wondering, Sammy, what are these tools you got? I'll explain the story, friends. I bought this whip. I was on Temu. Okay, there was a $20 whip. I'm like, oh, that's a whip. But right next to it was a $20 sex toy kit and it included the whip. I'll go, oh, that's a better deal. I go, I don't need all these things. Maybe I'll need these to sleep. So I got it. Why? Because I wanted to do this for the bull market. Right? That's when I got it. And it's just been sitting there. You know, woohoo, we get to whip the bull. Yeah. Little did I know, you're not going to be using the whip, brother. You're going to be getting whipped. And I looked at the tools in there, and I thought, you know what? I think it's very fitting right now. We do have a new character now. The Vietnamese Dong Kid has been retired with pDai. I've got many more things to go through as well, friends. Yes, nipples are pegged. These are the pain ones, though. The hot candle wax is coming next. Bitcoin's price, 84 to 85,000 American dollars. The structure, which is just my magical line here, is holding Bitcoin. It's actually green still in the month, which is wonderful to see. We got a lot of things coming your way, friends, as well. Remember, the weekly chart for Bitcoin is still holding. Very, very lovely. Hope you've been enjoying all my content, highest value content in crypto. Having a lot of fun here as well. And pretty much, friends, we're watching the 4-year cycle really get debated now. All right, I've got more content and videos coming on, but remember, okay, the government has to roll over this $7 to $9 trillion of debt, okay, in by June. So we got some stories going on. So Donald Trump, he's actively seeking to try fire Jay Powell so we can install an interest rate dove who can cut the rates and they can refinance and boom the market, okay? However, okay, if he can't fire Jay Powell, I'm guessing what they might try to do is, this might actually shift the cycle, right? They might roll over. Now, there's been no discussions of this. I'm just guessing. I don't even know if you're allowed to do this. They might find a way to roll over the debt for like 6 months to the end of the year, just 6 months. And then that'll allow Jay Powell to cut 3 or 4 times, right? And then when we hit December, the government goes, okay, now that the rates are low, let's roll over for 4 years. And it basically shifts the 4-year cycle. Now, remember, when they do the debt rollover, they print money to do it. They get a credit card, they print, they got a lot of excess money, and then things get simulated. That is what gives us the traditional 4-year cycle that we've seen out in the past here, and it just coincides. However, I'm just guessing that part because, look, you never know. He might actually find a way to fire Jay Powell, or maybe the economy cracks, or like what might be happening as well, friends. So, you know, this is the 4-year cycle out here. After the halvening, we get a boost. We're waiting for that boost as well. But around here, what the Fed is probably trying to do, and this is Arthur Gaze, pretty much. Mr. Arthur Gaze, what he said is the Fed, they're now obviously grabbing these, just basically these economics nerds who tell them to print money, and they're just sourcing from that. So they're like, got it prepared. So I guess that's why, friends, we might even see a crisis out soon. So remember, we're watching the bonds and Japan. Shout out to everybody in Japan, Pokemon Island. Japan was selling the bonds, and that's putting pressure because the yields are high. They're selling the bonds, right? It's dumping the US dollar pretty much. So we don't know we don't know what can happen after that. You never know, friends. Like maybe Japan has another crisis and then they have to sell the US bonds. And then America's like, okay, Japan's an ally with us against China. Let's print money to help them. But you don't know what type of world crisis can appear out of that. And maybe no world crisis appears, but hopefully the stock market doesn't poop the bed. But someone needs to buy the bonds. Okay, there's only one big buyer left. It's literally the US government. The Federal Reserve, right? That's what I mean by that. So the US dollar, friends, is the Dixie. The Dixie is still low here. Very interesting, right? That's actually why Bitcoin is probably holding up a bit because the US Dixie is down. So everything's going to plan. It's just that the narratives and the story, the narrative. Talk to me about the narrative, something. That's the narrative. Very interesting. I want to show you now the stonk market out here. This is the daily candle of it. I mean, friends, it's kind of funny, bro. Friends, you know, like we just did, stock market went down this little, this little candle. I'm not joking. All over Wanker Guru and everyone else, they have like $1.5 trillion wiped from the stock market. Bro, what are you talking about? Just shut the hell up. What are you talking about, bro? It comes back to August last year. Let it do the whole scammy thing and move up like it. But that's kind of a sign that people are still jittery. We might be able to see that from the VIX as well, because the VIX might give us some insight. And I think it's still like 30, right? Yeah, actually, here it is right now. This is the VIX. VIX is still 30, which is high. Usually the VIX is hovering around, maybe like 15, 20. But like, man, it gapped up to 60, which is historically a good buy. We have more updates coming out with Donald Pump out here. Let's look at the PulseChain altcoin price. We have these things moving around here. This is PulseChain PLS. Ain't moving much. There's been like big catastrophic explosions in the Atropa ecosystem. I'm going to have to summarize everything out here for you, friends. I can give you just a gentle gist of what's happened here. And pretty much the general gist, friends, is, and thank you to my friend Yi from my Telegram. So pretty much, friends, the updates, okay? Remember, friends, the only narrative that counts is my narrative, yeah? In my world, it's believe in something. That's it. I believe. I don't know what happens next. I've told you thousands of times, I've got no idea what happens next. There's guesses, there's stuff, there's puzzle pieces moving. I got no idea what happens next, okay? I just believe. Just like early Bitcoin, early Doge, early XRP, early Cardano, early everything, bro, you got no idea what the hell comes next, okay? You have no idea they're going to print money, macro stuff, I have no idea. Early Hex, you have no idea what comes next, okay? So, I'm there for the ride, yeah? There's all these characters that come in. We're getting pegged by a lady with a strap on. No, Cattie, please. Okay? What does that really mean, man? Here's the thing, man. Like, friends, if you try to... I get it. A lot of people knew. No people knew. If you focus on this short-term narrative stuff, the problem is there's always deviations. And they always psych you out or psych you in. They get you to FOMO buy stuff. They get you cheat lows because you're like, oh, that wasn't part of the plan. What's happening, right? So you can do whatever you want, friends. No kind casino. I don't give a crap. I'm just telling you, my plan's been the same from day one. I hold the whole cycle. I wait until euphoria. Oh, euphoria. That's why a lot of friends are saying euphoria is coming in 2 weeks. Euphoria is coming in 2 months. They say this for Bitcoin. Friends, even Max Kaiser, every 4 weeks, he's like, Bitcoin's going to gap up to 500K. Bitcoin's going to gap up to $1 million. Qatar just bought $100 billion. Qatar. The Saudis, Qatar. They always say that, friends. I don't go after that, right? Because I'm here to protect myself. Well, I'm always like, and some people consider this fun, right? Actually, a lot of people do. I'm like, you know what, bro? If this is going to take 2 years for the cycle, I don't give a shit. Whatever. And a lot of people get upset. They're like, oh, moving goalposts. Yeah, bro, who cares? Like, if you can't handle it, move. I'm told you I'm holding. And I always leave the lollipop in front of me on the stick. But I'll always leave it far. It's almost like, oh, I'm never going to grab you. I'm expecting never to grab it because that's what markets do. They're just like, when a lot of people are in with you, it takes a long time pretty much to finally get it. That's pretty much it. And there's a lot of rinses along the way. So MakerDAO, pretty much in the Atropa ecosystem and PulseChain, MakerDAO is now, I guess, Maker dead, right? So what's happened is the emergency stability module, whatever, MakerDAO, was activated. I'll go through all the details later. More pDai was minted. There's been a takeover from Cattie, who got weird, mysterious access and allowability to do stuff. I'm going to beat around the bush. We think she's working for Maria Atropa. You're allowed to do this. Come out. There's more steps removed from Richard Hart. She comes in, overtakes stuff, moves stuff around. Now, though, nobody can mint pDai. Okay, but nobody can burn it either. It's like MakerDAO is no longer done. Now, it looks like Atropa, that web, is the new MakerDAO. Okay? Now, here's the thing. Some people, I've seen there's some crybabies. Not you guys. There's always one crybaby. You know what I mean? Like, there's always one crybaby. Oh no, it's raining outside. How will we ever recover? Raining, bro. You're worried about raining, right? I gotta get stitches in my butt. You're worried about the rain. So, people crying, you can't do anything about them. But there are people crying because they're saying, "Oh no, the narrative changed." Do you understand how much of a bitch you sound like? And by the way, I've got a gag ball in my mouth calling you a bitch. You are watching a movie, yeah, And you're like, no, Neo, I didn't want you to get hit by that dude, Agent Smith. Neo, please get up off the floor, Neo. That's what you sound like. Well, like, bro, just shut up. Just eat your popcorn, okay? Eat your popcorn, drink your Slurpee, and just watch the movie. Okay, we're literally like 20 minutes in, bro. You're crying because you got kicked in the nuts by Agent Smith. All right, man, what? That's literally how I see it. The movie's not over, man, okay? So you're taking the emotional swings. You're like, no, Neo, please. Neo, please. That's what you sound like, okay? No, Neo, please. Swallow the blue pill, Neo. That's what you sound like as well, okay? You know, Neo takes the red pill. So the story keeps changing, right? And the thing is, man, a lot of people get upset. They attach other people's narratives to themselves where they go, oh, there's a new character. You didn't say this. You didn't say that. Dude, market's going to pump without you, bro. Who the hell are you? Okay, you're literally listening to just people in the world out there on the internet. You know what I mean? So, like, it's kind of like literally a rain comes out and a cloud comes out in the field. There's the, you know, the Westboro Church. God hates mags. There, people have the sign. That's what they say. They go, oh, gay people and sodomy is the reason why it's raining today. That's one. Another guy goes, you know why it's raining? Because the government, there's a conspiracy. The government shot something in the air. That's why it's raining. You know, another person is like, you know, totally random. You know, another guy's like, hey, I'm a butterfly effect believer. So some butterfly farted out there in Antarctica and that's caused the wind. You see what I mean? Like, there's all these different reasons why. Who cares, bro? It's raining. You know what I mean? Like, you can sit here, speculate on it. Doesn't matter. The cloud's on top. So we just got to wait longer. Also, there's more things to cover. What happened, man? So pretty much pDAI itself got dunked. Just a mild little minus 99.93% correction. So pretty much what happened, man, is pDAI was minted and then it was thrown away and burned. Friends, you didn't want to be awake when I was watching this. I was looking at this like, oh, I guess it is over. Oh, wait, no, it's not. And it came back up. A lot of the... there's a lot of free money out there, okay? So if you knew how to chart ratios, which I've literally shown you, I'll give you one example. A lot of people actually thanking me. They bought a lot of pDAI using a lot of they use Atropa, they use Teddy Bear, they use just everything else in the ecosystem out here. They use pWBTC. Just want to show you, Van. So this is the pWBTC to pDAI ratio, okay? If I just show you on a 15-minute, this thing went bang all the way up to 1.5 million. So that's what a lot of people could have done, okay? You could rotate some pWBTC. So if you're selling this, you're selling the pWBTC and you're buying pDAI. So it's giving you a big premium. If you notice how it just came back all the way down, it's still actually expensive. It's at 177,000. This thing will probably come back down to like 100,000 over time. Because this means pWBTC is expensive and pDAI is cheap. So that's pretty cool, right? To have that. So you basically use it as like it's a tool, man. But you didn't think it was going to happen by Cattie coming out and literally pegging you in the butt. Different type of pegging you were expecting. Now, I'm going to go through more of this now, but essentially, look at these words from Richard Hart.
A MakerDAO replacement so that we have like DAI on PulseChain.
So Richard Hart's words were, I got somebody said they're going to build a MakerDAO replacement so we have DAI on PulseChain. Now, why the confusion, right? Really confusion. I'm just a believer, friend. I'm just here. I'm believing. I got my peg nipples. So they started pointing all the energy to PulseChain MakerDAO. That's what everyone was like, oh, wow, so this is a big part of the story. What we didn't expect was the story twist where Cattie gets given access to actually shut down MakerDAO, and it looks like a bad thing has happened. My friends, I'll tell you, I don't think it's a bad thing. Firstly, Cattie and her boyfriend actually, by the way, worked for Maria, a trade apparently, or communicate with him, whatever. They're doxxed and they're in Europe, okay? So, like, who the hell goes, hey, everybody, I'm a living person. Let me go rug you. Like, so you can read between the lines out here, by the way. But yeah, it was just kind of like, it was tough to see. It was tough to see. It was tough to see just little momentary minus 99.82% dip, which is funny. If you want to know what happened, they just splashed it down. It's not like it didn't go there and it's just sitting there forever. It sells into the liquidity pool splashes. But I guess what's happening is, like I say, MakerDAO's the new Atropa. So sorry, Atropa is the new MakerDAO with the Oracle. I have a lot of things where Kyle's really good at this stuff out here. Kyle ask a lot of ChatGPT questions. Kyle also likes Most and Ricky. Shout out to Benny Blanco. Can't go a day without reminding me about Dicky and Most as well. But yeah, there's a lot of buys and burns and stuff out here. Now, here's the thing, friends. The next part, we don't know what comes next, okay? I asked Cattie what comes next. She went silent on me. I was like, oh, you know something. I'm not allowed to know. But here's the thing. There's 30 broken stuff that need to be built. The thing is, though, we've now retired the Vietnamese Dong kid. You know Scam Long Dong? He's gone. You can't mint more pDai at all. MakerDAO's dead. So that wallet thing, that thing's just actually gone. The character's gone. Literally, the character's killed off. Oh, the minting's done, but there's more supply. You're probably wondering, Sammy, how are we going to get the supply down? That's what we don't know. That's why I said get your popcorn. The next step is coming later on. Okay, so this is what, when he said building a MakerDAO replacement, just to let you know, friends, I didn't know this, but early Atropa, the conspiracy was that Atropa is the MakerDAO. Yeah, but then they raided the real MakerDAO. So Atropa lost like its narrative a bit, and everyone's like, we know it's got something to do with it, we just don't know how. So when all the attention went to the PulseChain MakerDAO and Aave and stuff, everyone was like, oh, I guess what's this Atropa? Then Maria started dumping, and everyone's like, oh crap, what's happening, right? But yeah, I guess now the narrative shifted back. Oh wait, you are the new MakerDAO. See twists and turns. Yeah, but you're watching the movie, dude. Oh no, Neo. Please, Neo, get up. Please, Agent Smith can't defeat you, Neo. See, friends, when you're watching, see all the crybabies? They're watching this scene, and they're like, please, Neo, please. Don't let him choke you, Neo, please. Please, Neo. That's what they sound like when they're crying. They're like, no, no. And you just, can you just shut up and watch the movie, bro? That's what's happening. By the way, friends, I'm just going to be honest, man. I've been in markets 15 years. I'm just being completely unbiased, okay? If I didn't know what the coin was, you know what this chart pattern is called? This chart pattern is called someone got hacked and scammed, dumped down, and someone super, super, super strong transferred it into his hands. That's what that pattern's called, okay? In any market, Now, I don't know if it's happening with pDai or anything out here. Man, we're just celebrating. But just to let you know, man, like it's actually, I kind of hate when this happens, but it's true, friends. The thing's only down now 32% on the week. You want to know something as well? It is only, wow, it's only 60% away from just 2 days ago. 60% away. And the liquidity's thin as hell. But as a general gist of things, the peg, now everyone's going, the peg, I don't know, dude. I don't know how it's going to work. But apparently, there's no MakerDAO peg system. Now, Atropa's the oracle. There's buy and burn stuff out here, I guess, being built or done. I don't know. But something else happens. You're building around this. Also, the next... Okay, what's happening immediately? Because I want to give you the gist right now. pUSDT. This is pUSDT-pDai. Okay, you see that? I'll show you here. This is pUSDT to pDai. Notice how it's pegged now. So what actually Cattie said, Cattie told us, it's funny, she can only tell us the immediate next step, but nothing after that. So the immediate next step is to get all the pStables to peg. So pDai, pUSDC, and pUSDT all trade at 1 at a ratio. Look at this, pUSDT to pDai. Now I'm going to show you something, friends. Look what happened to pUSDC-pdai. It traded at freaking 14. It traded as high as 19, which pretty much means if for every 1 pUSDC you had, if you're just sitting there, you literally could buy 10 units of pDai for it. And look, it collapsed all the way back down to 1.7. So I think the next move is actually not, I think, I'll just tell you, Cattie, I've DM'd Cattie, and she just said the next move is they're going to sell their pUSDC and move it into something else. I forgot. But what I assume this does is brings this back to 1. All right. Now, why all of this? I don't know. But the explanation given from her is Maria, the Atropa dev, there's a certain ratio of the stable coins based off their supply They have to trade at a certain like supply range. He has to know the supplies of each. Then the ratio is in. Then they bond to Atropa. And so when Atropa goes up, they are moving with it. I don't know why it's like that, but it is what it is, okay? I'm sure there's a reason and stuff out here. Like, you're trying to find the reason and then it changes, you lose your mind. Now, I'm going to crack on with the news, friends. I've got more to come on. So, as I mentioned, a new pDai character has appeared, Cattie, and she's wearing a strap-on. So, the Vietnamese dong, the scam long dongs, big fat dong, he's actually gone now. Okay, now we have a new penetrator weapon that we got pegged with. It's Cattie's strap-on. Some macro news of the day. Senator Josh Hawley is going to reintroduce a bill to ban Congress from trading stocks. So do you remember, friends, that's one of my exotic top signals? Because, yes, remember, friends, don't forget this, okay? They literally, the US Federal Reserve banned stonks trading from the US Fed at the literal freaking top here before they hiked the crap out of rates. They literally did it in, here we go, October, right here. That was wild, bro. They literally did it right here. Can you believe it? And then they did enormous rate hikes. Now, bang. So this next one, it will be interesting if, like, when they finally ban stocks trading, it'll be mad if, like, you know, it's somewhere up here and that ends up being, like, the top or something, right? We'll see. It takes a while for these to go through. By the way, they ban stocks trading, but do they ban crypto trading? By the way, how do you stop them? How can you prove it, bro? It's anonymous addresses. There's no names for Congress. But that might be like a bullish cope narrative where, oh, politicians, they can't trade stocks, but they're allowed to own crypto because it's a commodity. That's crazy. Then all the politicians are pro-crypto because they get paid in it. Crazy. Hopefully they don't get paid in Ethereum, though, because they'll be 90% poorer. The USA, friends, is going to negotiate with 70-plus countries to block China's trade routes. So, Matt, I don't know what you're going to do to, I guess, negate that. Maybe they're just going to come and talk it out, friends, out here. Just like this macro stuff out here, you know, remember I told you it's going to be gyrating back and forth, up and down. And, oh, Trump said this. Oh, now he's angry. No, he's cooled down. Oh, no, he's actually playing golf. That's why he's cooled down. So, that's what comes next, I guess. More news as well, friends. So, Russia's finance ministry calls to create its own crypto stablecoin. Once again, your friend Somi, I've told you there are two things happening. There's a meme coin super cycle and there's a stablecoin super cycle. They are happening whether we like it or not, okay? If there's a stablecoin super cycle, to make money, what most people are doing are supplying the world with a stablecoin. They take your US dollars, they go buy government bonds, they get the yield, and then they take it off you. That's what Ripple's doing. That's what Tether's doing. Cuck currencies, okay? Now, if pDai becomes an actual native stablecoin on PulseChain, it'll be a world first. No blacklist function, no nothing. I don't know how the quirks are going to go, friends. I'm just telling you now, there's 30 things broken, yeah? As you tick off 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the price adjusts over time. I don't know how it's going to get there. I don't know what boxes get ticked. It is what it is. Also, there are a lot of people, friends. I know, man. At the bottom here, this is, friends. Like, if you want bottom signals, bro, friends. You know who you are, you little cucks. All of you came into my Telegram here. Do you know everyone came here, friends? They literally came here. They're literally right here. And they come in and they say, Somi, just admit you're wrong. Just admit you're wrong. Just admit it. Just admit it. And I was just watching on the other screen and I was like, truck this guy, bro. Bye. Flip it around. That's what I was doing. Bye. Screw this guy. Who's this guy? Who's this guy? You can't even grow a beard, bro. You can't even grow a beard. Okay? Bye. That's what I was doing. And if you're wondering, yes, friends, look how long this lasted. You had minutes, bro. You only had literally 120. You had 120 minutes as this thing was exploding. Okay, by the way, it's still cheap as hell. Just telling you, I only had 120 minutes. So I'm not going to waste precious, because I've seen shit like that, yeah. I'm not going to waste precious minutes making videos for that one cuck with a clown nose going, just admit you're wrong. Just admit you're wrong. Like, man, is that how you live your life, bro? There's literally opportunity, bro. You could be dumping on me right now. If you If you, instead of being a little bitch, if you actually bought the dip instead of typing, you could be dumping on me right now for a 10x, bro. You're literally a 10x. Right now, you could have just done that, okay? Don't worry about anybody else's position. Like, think about yourself, man. You could have literally, you'd be up 10x, bro, in a day. Not even, in like 15 hours. You could be dumping on my head right now. So, it is what it is, friends. Like, I don't waste my time telling people that. I just let them play around and do that because you can't be saved because these people play in the totally wrong game. But, you know, you need them because when stuff starts getting ticked in, they foam and buy tops. Yeah, they foam and buy tops. Stablecoin supercycle. The US of A has generated $21 billion in tariff revenue. I guess they're trying to replace... That's the funny part, friends. Like, I think when we look back at these tariffs, it's Trump saying, wait a minute, bro. Do you know why we're doing tariffs? So I can cut your income taxes harder and give you more stimulus. That's why, dude. But the market's so irrational. They're like, no. They can't think of that part. They just think of the bad part. Fed Chair Jerome Powell says crypto is becoming more mainstream and legal framework for stablecoins is a good idea. Dun, dun, dun. Once again, Jay Powell has come out. He said we need crypto framework stablecoins. I told you stablecoin supercycle. I'm telling you. By the way, friends, US of A is going to move in hard to the stablecoin regulation, right? Because they want USDT. They want their USD to be the primary winner. They do, okay? To maintain dominance. That's how, friends, that's how America rules the world. Because like 83% of world trading volume is US dollar. 83%. It's a premier store of value in all the volume. Stablecoin supercycle gets confirmed by who? Your friend Sami. That's right. Ha! You like these? You like these? Huh? Thank you very much, Timu. See, friends, that's why sometimes you got to look around for a good deal. I was going to pay $20 just for one whip. But right next to it, I just started browsing another 10 seconds. Like, whoa. I can get the sex kit with the whip for also $20. And I got it. There you go. I mean, I was kind of hoping. I didn't want to use the sex stuff. Like, I wanted to be whipping a bull. I thought it'd be funny, but I didn't think we'd get, bro, like 5 red monthly candles in a row for Ethereum. You know, that sucks. Also, friends, I made a video yesterday. I thought it was a joke, but it's actually real. Tiffany Fong, I thought it was a joke, dude. She actually did get messaged by Elon Musk to have a baby. He actually wanted a baby with them. Look what happened. During the height of her interactions with billionaire owner, Fongles earned $21,000 in a 2-week period in November. That was when Elon Musk sent her a direct message asking if she was interested in having his child, according to people familiar. The two never met in person. Fongles didn't move forward with Musk because she pictured having children in a more traditional nuclear family, but confided to a few friends about the approach, including St. Clair, whom she knew was another conservative social media figure. I think, is Ashley St. Clair, that was the one that just had the baby. She was like baby mama number 7 or something. She had baby number 13, where Elon, it's kind of funny, man. Like Elon had the baby with her and then he doesn't want her to have the surname. And he said it's for security reasons, which kind of makes sense. Like if everyone just go start, like targeting, I guess, anyone with a Musk surname. As well. Once Musk learned that Fongles, so what happened is she worried that turning Elon Musk down could hurt her earnings. Interesting. So she's like, crap, if I don't have the baby, it might hurt my big money earnings. Once Elon Musk learned that Fongles disclosed the request to others, he decided for her not using discretion according to the people. Okay, so he chided for her. So basically, because she went and told people, he unfollowed her. And then she had a huge crash in her engagement. Interesting, bro. Like, come on, Elon, bro. Like, you bought Twitter for like $40 billion to just DM girl who uses it. You know what I mean? It's just, bro, it's 40 billion, each to their own, and yes, friends, Vitalik, I'm sick of this. ChatGPT and DeepSeek, DeepPeg, and all the AI call Sami Ethereum's secret weapon, okay? I am Ethereum's secret weapon. Vitalik, Vitalik came out as a shining white knight to rescue Tiffany before this information came out. Because there's a bet on if Tiffany Fong is pregnant. He goes, I personally think this is tasteless and a violation of a person's privacy. Friends, this is like bottom signal stuff for the 15,000th time for Ethereum as it heads to zero. Gainzy ratioed Vitalik. Great use of your time, bro. We were all waiting on your opinion on an e-girl's pregnancies. He says, you know, what's it like seeing ETH at its 7-year lows? So like, you know, just, you don't want to see that, man. Like, come on, bro. Come on, Vitalik, bro. Come on, man. Just don't come out. Shining white knight, please. It just reminds you of the Joe Biden era, right? So, yeah, it is what it is. But it's a business cycle, friends. Some comments from Fed Jerome Powell as well. He said, U.S. economy is solid and despite uncertainty. He says the job market's good. Federal debt is not unsustainable. He goes, markets will see continued volatility. President Trump says big progress is being made on a trade deal with Japan after meeting Japan officials. So, ni hao to all my Japanese baby dolls out here. China trolls President Trump on Twitter over his tariff policy. Art of the deal. Interesting. So, Trump tariffs, which is kind of funny, man. This event is interesting. It's a meme coin super cycle, man. Like, they're communicating to each other through memes. Because a picture says 1,000 words. So it's meme coin super cycle sending ideas out here. I had to put the pDai pulse ratio out here, friends. I know we had like these big fat weeks come back up here. Interesting. It's at 43 value again for pDai pulse ratio. Remember, we were just trading like at 100 before. It's higher than when Richard said stop buying pDai, which is also interesting. So where to from here? Ethereum, bro, is still cratering down. My gosh, bro. Can you just bottom? Far out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red monthly candles. One single green one on November Trump win. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. My gosh, man. Well, you know, if this dog shit just stays down here, it depends what it does, man. If Ethereum stays down here, I'm rotating all profits in this bull market to ETH, okay? If ETH by the end of the bull is back up here, it'll be Bitcoin rotation from me, and then in the next bear market, I accumulate ETH. So it depends on the ratio, but it's kind of weird though. How can't Ethereum rally in the bull market? Like I hope it does. Just hoping and coping. Now, I want to know what you think, friends. And be honest, were you one of the soy boys complaining out here? It just upsets people, bro. Yeah, I was buying the dip. By the way, nothing else is moving, bro. Look at this. Yeah. I don't know how the story progresses. Okay. All I know is that stuff's happening. That's it. Where to from here? From cryptocurrency. This is the global liquidity cycle stuff, friends. This says poop until May. Raoul Powell uses this, but I think he's got the 85-day offset, which I'll just show you. It moves it in. 85-day offset says we just start going up only. But I just personally, friends, I've written off the month of April. I've personally mentally written it off. Because, bro, yeah, come on, let's be honest, friends. 5 red monthly candles of Ethereum. 5, man. You know, it is what it is. And others BTC. And look, man, we might actually get the extended cycle, friends. Like, look at this. Others BTC still cratering out here. 5 red monthly candles. Man, this is gonna have to do some freaking big nutcase reversal. What's it gonna take though? I don't know. Looking for that catalyst. I'm still holding on. Are you? Like, subscribe, belly button, and all. Catch you soon.